Barbarian is directed by Zach Kreger and stars Georgina Campbell, Justin Long, Bill Skarsgård, among others. And in this story, it deals with a woman who essentially ends up going to a house that she ended up renting from an Airbnb, and she ends up finding out that she's double booked with another guy that's staying there, played by Bill Skarsgård. And throughout the movie, there's essentially some weird things that are happening as she starts to discover more about this house and things like that. And the way that the movie plays it out, you're really not too sure about Bill Skarsgård's character, of whether or not he's really involved with much of what's going on at the house or anything. And I'll leave it there because there's a lot of things that I can't really go into detail without going into spoilers with. But here's a little backstory. Now, this movie, it got me interested because I saw a trailer of it about a month ago, and when I saw the trailer, I had no idea what I was expecting. It was a movie that kind of had this idea of, you're thinking in your head, like, okay, is this going to be like something that, like, is there going to be some kind of like cult or something? Is it going to be like, I don't know, is it going to be shifting gears and doing something completely unexpected? And I pretty much was right about that, because this movie goes into some territory that I had no idea that threw me off upon seeing it. And I can say that for this movie, I liked it, but it is definitely highly flawed. But to get my pros out of the way, I liked the performances in this. I thought Georgina Campbell and Bill Skarsgård were excellent. They really held their ground a lot. And one of the and especially with Bill Skarsgård, how he's kind of playing a very, you're really not too sure about him as the movie goes along and things like that. So I really give him commending for really keeping it on the low profile on the way that the story plays out with his character. And I also got to really commend with Georgina Campbell that she really held her ground as the lead in this. And she held her ground. There's some things about writing with her character that are very off as the movie goes along that I'll get to later. And that's really a common problem with a lot of horror films. But I'll leave it at there. But the rest of the other character that really steals the show for me is Justin Long. And I've always liked Justin Long as an actor, and especially in like his early stuff with Jeepers Creepers and things like that. And it's good to see that he's still doing horror films like this. And he does definitely provide more of the comic relief that you kind of expect in this movie. And to an extent, though, it does work for me, and it doesn't really make the tone kind of off or anything like that, other than maybe like one or two scenes. But there is also some really great stuff with this character that I appreciate. That they try to blend in some like the very good layers to him, to where he is basically a flawed individual that's that's aware of his actions and stuff like that. And so I got to appreciate where his character was going throughout the story. And then the rest of the movie, I just got to give it props for the director of this. I'm not too familiar with the guy's work. I know that he's done some television shows that I'm not really too familiar with and things like that. And for him being like a first-time director, I thought that he was able to really capture a lot of the tension well in the first half, and he was able to blend in some really disturbing stuff that I didn't really expect in this. And actually had some flat out gross shit that I was watching and just flat out disgusted with watching, but in a good way. It's very rare you see those kind of horror movies anymore that do that very kind of gross type of level that you didn't really expect. And there is a cool twist that I'm kind of hit and miss on that they kind of pull off with it when it gets to its reveal. I gotta also give them credit with the music in this that did kind of have like a synthesizer type of score that reminded me a lot of stuff from the 80s that I really enjoyed. But with that being said, though, and with all the things that where the movie was going, I did also have some issues with it. And to get some more cons, I will say that the movie does have some stuff that's very unanswered throughout. I give them credit for trying to be original in this, but the problem is the fact that it does take it to where there's not enough really explored, to where it doesn't really make a lot of sense when you're thinking about it. Now, I know that a lot of horror movies are meant to try to piece together your own imagination on stuff, and that's what makes it interesting. But there are movies like this that you could probably at least add more stuff into the story that could have made it fleshed out a lot better and maybe explore a lot. And other than like a quick reveal that we get in a certain scene, it's really not really fully digested what I thought it was going to be. And so that is one of the things that hold it back. But I was still interested in where it was going, at least throughout the story. But one of the other biggest things I have too, and this is the other problem I have with a lot of horror films, is where our lead does make some really dumb decisions that essentially gets her involved into stuff that she shouldn't really be involved with. And that also counteracts with some of the other, situations that involve that affect the other characters in the film. And I really wish that we could get horror films that take away that whole cliche, because every time a character makes a dumb decision, it just makes it feel like, you're seeing the same thing rinse and repeat in a lot of these films, and it becomes very incompetent with the way that the character is trying to play it out. And one of the other biggest things I have an issue with is there are some cops that show up in this film only for like one or two scenes, I think, and when they show up, they are pretty dumb when they come across, and they remind me of the cops that were in Halloween 5 on that kind of level, where they're very incompetent. But overall, though, I still liked it, and so with that, I'm gonna give the movie an extremely low, compelling grade on the Film Freaks meter. So, for those of you who have also seen Barbarian, let me know in the comments below what you thought about it, and thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in my next review. I'll see you later.